with liberty and justice for all. We have a roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Here.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. And next on the agenda is an oath of office. Okay, if I can sneak out here. Might have to move in a little bit if you can now. Okay, we need, could you move these for me? And go down on there. You're gonna need to sign three of these after we're done, and you'll keep one. I'll take the other two back. If you wanna just repeat after me. Raise your right hand, please. I state your name.
I, Juan Rodriguez,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa,
and the Constitution of the State of Iowa.
and that I will faithfully and impartially,
I will faithfully and impartially,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
discharge all duties of the position of First Ward City Council member
discharge all duties
of the position
of First Ward Council member
in the City of Independence,
in the City of Independence,
as now and hereafter required by law.
as now and hereafter required by law.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You get to sign all these.
Sign.
And John's going to want a photo op.
That's really why I put you over there, Steve.
Tell me there was memorization involved.
I didn't say it good enough? Okay, I'll take these two. You get that one, and I'll lead you up to your seat. How's that sign? That way I can get up there.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know if anybody signed in behind Dustin there, or next to Dustin.
How long will we have to have these things?
Yes, please. Just the first left-hand one there. Yeah, turn the other back.
Are we setting a mood or what?
Turn that on. Okay. Does that wash it out? Well,
I can see it there, but I don't know whether,
okay.
yeah, I can't see it on the TV, but,
We gotta have some light.
yep.
Do we have any way we're doing a public comment at all?
I haven't had any requests for public comment.
Okay. Next on the agenda is, I need a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: the minutes of the June 8th, 2020 regular meeting, budgeted and monthly transfers for the month of May, Chung Garden Class B beer and Sunday sales liquor license for July 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021.
So moved.
A motion? Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the claims for payment.
So moved.
Second.
You got who it was? Okay. Have a motion and a second to approve all the claims for payment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, under petitions from the public, is Triumphant Church. Have a donation for the fire department. Going to let you just kind of take over here. You want to just speak into the mic to let us know what you're doing, and then John can get his photo ops and stuff.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Lance Fricky, pastor of Triumphant Church here in Independence, and I'd like to introduce Andy, Amber Hudson, and Tyler Kane, who are also members of our church. And, you know, since our beginning 33 years ago as a church, we've always wanted to be a blessing to the city and the community that we reside and are part of. And so this past Christmas, we had the opportunity to receive our Christmas offering, and we had 4 projects that we put on the agenda for that, and one of those was for the Independence Fire Department because of all their help and their service to our community. And so on behalf of the Board of Trustees, on behalf of the congregation of Triumphant Church, we'd like to present the Independence Fire Department a check for $1,500. So Amber, you got that? I don't know if this is official or whatever.
Elbow bumps.
That'll make it official. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you from all of you,
Thank you.
for all of you. Okay, next on the agenda is for Friday Night Live from the Independence Chamber. Nikki would like to come forward.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Have to move that down, sorry. So I'm here tonight to get approval for our 2 Friday Night Lives. First being July 17th, and the second is August 14th. Right now, we're still working with the one band on whether or not they will be able to play, and then our August will be Michelle and Travis McBride's band. So we have been working, talking with Ty out at Public Health about some different ways to kind of stay socially distanced, but as we know, Friday Night Live does not draw the crowd that 4th of July does at, 3,000 to 5,000 people in that park. We're lucky if we get 200, maybe 250, and typically people will sit in little pods. So we will have signage to encourage social distancing, and we will be not having as much change in volunteers as we were before. So we're trying to keep everything at a minimum. So,
I think it's pretty hard to do this when we canceled our 4th of July parade and our fireworks, and we're encouraging people to be in small groups, and our numbers are still going up in Iowa. It's non-essential, it's entertainment.
But at the same token, if people want to, I think social distancing is appropriate, and if they don't feel safe, stay home. That's largely.
Those people go there and take it somewhere else, though.
Yeah. Can't always.
could be the same said for going to the grocery store.
could be.
Or Walmart too, so.
But when you avoid the big groups, that's what they've been telling us.
And our Friday Night Live group is 250. Our parade is
I
10
get
to
that, but still,
15,000, so.
The church just had 356 people in it, and 230 of them were positive for it.
I guess I would think you're going to get a much bigger crowd because people have been lacking in entertainment. And when I saw this, I really have my doubts on it, just as Deb said, that we have our crowds and I know I'm from Wisconsin and my friends up there don't care for it, but they opened their bars way earlier than everybody else, and I thought that was a goofy idea. I just really have trouble having a large group deal, and my problem comes in is that maybe not even so much Independence, but we're going to draw people from other communities that are still having some very serious problems, and they're going to, every time you draw all of those people to our community, it's kind of like traveling after Christmas vacation for schools. So I do have a problem with it.
Okay.
Comments from the rest of you? Council members?
I would make the motion, we approve it,
Okay.
let the council vote.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? So we have a motion and a second to approve the Friday Night Lights for July 17th and August 14th. Roll call, please.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
No,
Scharf,
No.
Kurtz,
Yes,
O'Loughlin,
No.
Hannah.
No,
Motion failed.
It failed? Okay, sorry, Nikki.
Yep.
Do we have anybody here for our next item of the block party?
No. We do have a special event application for a block party on Cary Avenue in the old subdivision. It is an area that is not necessarily through traffic, so closing the street does not eliminate access to the neighborhood. I think in my write-up, I told you that they have asked for closing up until 2 o'clock. After visiting with them, they agreed that they would close at 11 as opposed to, or 11:30 as opposed to the 2 o'clock. They just didn't know what time to put in there. They did ask that you waive the insurance requirement of our special event application because it is all the homeowners of that neighborhood as opposed to a community event. So they all have their homeowners insurance, and the only people allowed at the block party would be those from that neighborhood. They did make a couple of clarifications for us. In other words, maintaining a fire lane through the street, should we have to have an emergency vehicle travel through there, even if it's blocked off, we have to be able to access those properties. They were okay with that. Yeah, and the timing we already talked about, so.
I take it, Al, they'll have some kind of music, but they'll keep it down.
They didn't say anything about music. They will have some bounce house activities for the kids, based on the comments they made, but they'd keep those off the street. And so, you know, from the standpoint of maintaining that area for the city's concerns, they've addressed everything that we've asked of them.
All right.
approximately how many people are they expecting?
There's probably 40 or 50 on our block, if that.
See,
I'd make a motion to approve the event.
I'd second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve
And you
the
take that number
block
times
party application.
how many?
Any other discussion?
I have a quick question. I'd like to
Okay.
bring up. I know that they had said that they had talked to all the neighbors, correct? Do you have anything that states they actually spoke with everybody?
I do not have anything that
I
verifies
can
who they
witness
talked
that.
to.
Huh?
I can witness that.
Okay, but they spoke to every single person there, all on
On
the.
Cary.
Huh?
All on Cary.
But how about any of the ones that border right next to it? Because if you're gonna have loud music till 11 o'clock at night, I know there's a canine that works for that's for the county, it's just the block over.
Oh, I think they talked to Christie.
I would like to see something in writing for the council so that none of the other neighbors are complaining that this is actually happening and not against their permission in their neighborhood. So that way it says, okay, everybody's been talked to. I know there's been petitions of having people doing stuff and people would sign a petition saying I'm in favor of it. I think that would go a long ways for the council if that was done for something like this nature in a residential area.
Excuse me, Chief, but doesn't it say in here that the police and fire have reviewed and concur?
And that was part of my requirements is that I would like to see, make sure everybody was talked to.
Was that part of the requirements?
That was
Well,
something I
the
brought up.
concurrence that we talked about was the layout of the road closure, and the hours of the operation. We did not talk about who was or was not communicated with.
I just think it's kind of
I mean, I know I had brought.
ridiculous to be bringing this forward now.
Well, I had brought up the time because I know 2 o'clock was kind of late for a residential area. I know I had asked about if all the neighbors had been talked to about it. I know Dick had brought up wondering about the fire lane. So I said some of these were discussed and said I would just like to see that all the neighbors would make sure that they were talked with. And even having people that are having this go around and ask for a signature saying, yes, we approve this, so that way you know everybody's on board with it. Because I could say I'm going to have one in my neighborhood and not talk to a single soul and then come up here and say, yep, I spoke to everybody. I don't know who the people are. I don't know if everybody's been talked to or not. So that's why.
The organizers live right next door to me, and they've spoken with everybody on the block. In fact, around the corner even from Cary onto Kelly. So everybody's aware of it.
Okay, and everybody's in favor of doing so?
Yeah, nobody's said anything, there's been no complaints.
Okay.
Mike, are people like from Kelly and Mitchell, are those people coming to the party too?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, just people along the red out street, okay.
Did I hear that they are having a band or something, or music of some kind?
There was no mention of music in any of the conversations I've had.
Okay.
This is,
Any other discussion?
that's the email that I got.
We do have a motion and a second to approve the application. I'd like a roll call, please.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes,
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
No,
Callahan.
No.
It passed.
You did approve? Okay, motion carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the application for a fireworks permit by the Chamber of Commerce for July 4th, 2020. You're
Could
back.
have just stayed up here as well. So, last Monday, I was contacted by a business person in Independence, and they had asked about fireworks, and if one of the reasons of fireworks were not going on this year was because of sponsorship. And they offered us a significant amount of money to, in about a tune of about $10,000 donation to be able to put on a social distancing fireworks. So it would not obviously be held downtown where everybody would be together. Juan and I kind of got together and did some brainstorming. I contacted some people, and Elliot Henderson from Monsanto has offered up his land to have the fireworks shot from his land. That will not be open to public access. We met on Friday with Dick and Bill Wolfgram, Scott Anderson, Charlie McCardle, Dustin, Elliot Henderson out at the site, and discussed some different things about where people would park, emergency EMS type of things. And so we contacted also Heartland Acres, everybody in that area, to let them know that there was a possibility that there would be people parking in their parking lots. I would assume, back when it was at the MHI, we would park all the way over at, Pomida, well, it's not even Pomida, Signs and More, right? So, the pub would be aware, everybody would be aware of that. Bill Wolfgram also, Charlie McCardle's biggest obstacle was that he did not want people parking on the MHI grounds because of the fact that they have staff coming in and out at 11 o'clock shift change. So he has it set up that the MHI grounds will be shut down for the night. He did say if people park somewhere and they want to walk over and watch from the softball field, that's on them, but there won't be any public cars on the MHI grounds. And Bill Wolfgram contacted Brian Kylaber, and they are actually going to shut down 232nd Avenue. It's an avenue, right? 232nd Avenue, which is Iowa Avenue to Henley. That's right on, that would be the south entrance of MHI. So that whole road will be completely shut down as one of the EMS routes for the night also. And it just makes it easier where people would not try to park on that road with it being a dead end to the MHI. So we kind of have, I think we have all of our ducks in our row. We will ask that it is social distancing, people stay in their cars. We do know that people are going to park on the side of the road to watch it, just like they would when it was at MHI, or if it was Aurora or whatever. So that's what we're
Is
we're
that too close to the airport?
No, the airport is fine. We do have to issue a notice to airmen. We can either notify them of the fireworks or close the runway for that time frame. So we have two options there. Both are acceptable.
And Scott said it'd be 22 to 30 minutes, he said, depending on, and it will be 100% an aerial show. There will not be any ground fireworks, so people can park further away and still be able to see them. He actually said he thought maybe some people in Raleigh and Brandon might be able to see them from a distance. So it's quite a distance. So, and we did, when we went out there, you kind of stand on Elliott's ground, or we were right at the entrance, and everywhere, all the way around, you can see for miles, except that little slice of the MHI grounds, which of course has all the trees and stuff. So there's ample parking for people to park and stay in their cars.
Will they be allowing parking at the airport?
Well, the road going into the airport, yes, on the airport, proper, no. I mean, if you open it up at the apron and that area.
No, I was thinking the airport parking lot.
Oh,
by
yeah,
that
absolutely.
terminal building.
Yeah, the
There's gonna be
parking lot
cops out
there,
to
the
patrol
road.
that?
Yeah, Dustin just told me he will have some overlap. Dustin contacted the state patrol for us, and they are aware of it, so they'll have people in the area to police the 4-lane to keep them moving along. So I don't think I'm forgetting anything, but
You have the yellow, is that fence around there, or you said Elliott doesn't want anybody on his property?
it is completely fenced in. So the only way in and out of there is through, there's a north, on his property, on the Henley, there's a north gate and a south gate. So it'll be all in the north or the south gate areas where like EMS, ambulance, fire will be staged, so.
Dustin, this is city out here?
Yes, that is.
Traffic after it's all done, how are they all going to get out?
So what I've done, being that this is new to me, because I wasn't around when MHI had all theirs, my second shift will stay late till it's over with. My third shift will come in early. What I've told my senior officer of that night, which he's working right now, and I spoke with him before I came up here, I said, make sure that before everything starts, you have somebody go around and checking all the streets, seeing where everybody's parking at, because we don't know. And then before it all kicks off, you formulate a plan of who you want where to help direct traffic at which direction. I'm leaving it on him because I won't be there. So, hey, this is your call. You decide where you want the officers to be to assist with it. I know the county is going to be very tied up with Aurora because they're having a whole big event up there. So I'm, with as many people as we're going to have out, we'll have 5 officers working at this time. I'm probably expecting one of them to be at Henley in Old 20 or 220th. I know it's county, but still to watch that because that's going to be one of the biggest bottlenecks of people leaving. So I want him to make sure and to go through with everything. He's been on the department for 16 years, 17 years, so he's been around at that time. So I'm hoping that with everything and the correlation between everybody, they can formulate a plan that will work out well. I don't have any plans or documentation from back then, so I have nothing to go off of. It's just what they see and they'll have to accommodate to.
It just takes time.
Correct.
Yeah. I know the
And honestly-
MHI staff used to
Yeah, they used to
let
hire
people
somebody.
out of the MHI area, but here they're not going to be in MHI anyway.
So they're not gonna be in MHI, and that was for that whole shift change of, people coming in at 11, and they have to come in a little early to get their temps and go through all the questioning for, like, working in a healthcare facility. So, we will have volunteers at all 3 entrances. The people that live out there will know that they have to come in one entrance, and the employees will know that they have to come in a certain entrance also, so.
And I don't know who's gonna park where, but if more people are parking and walking across the MHI, by the time they get back to their cars, hopefully the other traffic is already out of the way, so that might actually help. So he'll just have to play it by ear for the traffic control.
But it used to actually be easier to get out of there from MHI than it is down out of Riverwalk Park.
Yes,
Yeah.
I can see that. So,
Well, and especially if they're gonna park, like, people would park on those gravel roads, you know, to the south and to the west. I mean, there's a lot of escape routes, you know,
Yeah.
ways to get out there also, so.
So there's not going to be any concession stands
Nothing.
or
Nope,
anybody
not-
walking
not
around
on our
selling
part.
stuff?
Nope, not on our part.
Okay.
It is fireworks, basically air show, and that's it. So,
Is there any other discussion?
Have you heard from Aurora about this? I think they thought they had a monopoly.
I think that, well, Scott actually told us on Saturday, or on Friday, that 12 out of the weren't you standing there? 12 out of the 17 shows that they were supposed to do over the 4th of July weekend that were canceled, previously canceled, have now come back up. And the reason, so it's Scott Soyfer from Soyfer McDonald's that offered up the money for it. And he said that his family always comes down to the parade, they participate in the parade, go home, they do Charles City fireworks at night. And he said Charles City was trying to get something going, and he said that 4th of July is pretty special in their family, so he thought he offered Charles City the same amount to get theirs going, and he said, you know, Independence shouldn't be without fireworks, so that's what he called and offered us also, so.
It's a very generous offer.
Yes,
on his
very
part.
generous. Yeah, we were very appreciative.
Do I hear a motion on either way
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Motion
second
to
it.
approve.
to approve?
Approve.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the fireworks. Roll call, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
No,
Callahan,
No.
Rodriguez,
Do I have to abstain because I was part of the planning? No?
Do what?
Do I have to abstain because I was part of the planning? Can I vote on it?
You're not going to gain anything from this. You don't have any, no,
No, I just made the connections,
yeah.
You're,
No.
you're
and then I'll say yes.
free.
You have to.
Okay. Motion did
I better
pass.
make sure. I don't want any
Thank you all.
Conflicts of interest.
And this is primarily, people are going to be staying in their cars. It's not like going to have a big park where everybody's sitting
nobody
shoulder
can
to
see from their
shoulder.
cars, they're gonna get out. They're not gonna sit in a hot car, and
Well, but there's not a big park where everybody's going to gather all together.
we'll see.
Next on the agenda is resolutions for the library board appointment. I think you all should have received late last night hopefully you did, my email as to who my plan is. My plan are, I don't know if you want to do one of them at a time. My first one is that I am reappointing Greg DeBoer to a 4-year term. Do you want to go ahead and vote individually?
Yes.
Okay. So do I have a motion to approve Greg to reappoint him to a 4-year term as a trustee on the library board?
So moved.
I hear a second also, okay. Any other discussion? Roll call?
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. Second person that I'm appointing for the 4-year term is Brad Schultz. You should have had something at your desk or your position of his very short bio. I actually started talking to him last fall when I realized he had moved back to Independence. He was the mayor of Brandon for 2 years. And Brandon and Raleigh are 2 communities that do not get service from the library, so I'm hoping that we start a dialogue. I discussed this at length with Greg last night. So I'm asking for a motion to approve Brad Schultz to a 4-year term as a
I have
trustee.
a question on that, Mayor. A dialogue, we're not dialoguing that we want to provide free service to Brandon or Raleigh?
No,
Okay, good, because that,
and that'll be up to the trustees. He just has experience that he can share from him having walked in the shoes and been the mayor of the community and realizes their needs, whatever the situation is, and it'll be the trustees who will have to make those decisions. That's on them, that's their responsibility.
as a council, I think we need to stick with the library's decision that those communities have to help support the services, and I don't want to just suddenly start saying we're going to, all these other communities have paid for it, and now all of a sudden, we're going to do Brandon or Raleigh for
No,
free.
he just has had that experience, and you have to walk in somebody's shoes to understand where they're coming from sometimes. He only has one vote as a trustee, and Greg did not appear to have any problem. He said he was even a member of his church, and he's known him for a long time, so.
Mayor, is he living in Independence now?
Oh, he lives on 6th Avenue Southwest.
Is he on Ring Central?
Do what?
Is he on Ring Central to ask questions?
I have it down there, I don't have it up here.
He works at John Deere and has been putting in overtime hours. He told me yesterday he was still planning on trying to come, but he wasn't sure with his hours if he was going to be able to, and I don't see him.
I've had a lot
here,
of calls and emails and all weekend, and one of the things they brought about him was that he wasn't even a member of the library. And he's lived here for 2 years. This really downplayed the wrong way anyway, because we didn't know anything about this until, well, this morning I noticed, because at 10:48 last night's when you sent the email out. But yet I got calls yesterday telling me all about this guy, and it's like, really? I'm the city council? And you're telling me this stuff?
I have communicated with different people.
But not us.
I've communicated with different people in regards to who to put on the library and stuff, and so, I've also put his name out there to find out if there was people that had an opinion or knew who he was, that type of a thing. I don't see of any reason why he can't be on.
I don't either. I
Trustee?
just don't like how it played out, is what I'm saying.
No. This is how it did. I'm trying to make this as a
I
positive
mean, usually on
situation.
Friday night, we get the board docs anywhere after 5 o'clock, and I looked at that, and I'm looking down at the executive thing, trying to get it to come up, and it's like, am I doing something wrong, or what? There's no names here.
Was not able, I was still getting phone calls on Sunday. I was not able to finalize this and confirm both of them until later Sunday afternoon. And I wasn't going to put names out and then have all of a sudden, because I originally had Greg Gates I'd asked him about it.
I heard about that.
And then he found out that he couldn't do it. He'd approved it and sent me a bio also and stuff, but then had to bow out. And I did not want to put out a name either in any way, shape, or form until I had it totally confirmed.
We could have
And then I had problems with my computer last night where you guys' email addresses, for some reason on my iPad from my house, were not accepted. And so I had to ask Gina or Al to try to send it, and then I tried again and got your email and John's and Bob's. Did you all three get one? But they wouldn't accept the rest of the email addresses. By the time all that got completed, it was probably after 9 o'clock last night.
But I think we could have got an email to say, I'm thinking about this guy, and it's private contents, and then we wouldn't be able to talk about it. But when I get calls and people are telling me that this guy, and they told me about Greg Gates, and I'm like, well, city council, I don't know anything about it.
I knew
Sorry-
nothing about it.
Sorry if you didn't get it soon enough.
I had 48, a total of 48, 45 when I emailed you this afternoon, and I had 3 more people stop my house.
I'm having trouble hearing you guys with all this.
I've had 48 people comment on it with me, between emails, phone calls, and physically stopping at my home.
I'm sure I've had more than that, but.
Yeah, I'm sure you have too. But I only had one that was affirmative with the change, so.
Did any of them have any complaints about possibly Brad being on there, or?
Yeah, they like the experience that Ankerstein brings to the table. That's what they wanted,
No.
stability and experience.
I think Greg will be fine or be capable of handling that.
Well, I'm glad you do.
Greg DeBoer will, yeah. So,
But if Greg Gates wouldn't have turned it down, we wouldn't have had Greg DeBoer on it probably.
I guess I personally, you know, I know how people in the community wanted this to go down. It could have been different. I think we have a good compromise going here, and I guess I'd like to just, everybody knows what their feelings were. I think we can, the mayor's good. I think Greg DeBoer should be thanked for listening, and I think we need to just get this thing done, get moving forward, and I would make the motion we approve Brad Schultz.
okay.
I second that.
Any other discussion? Then I have a motion and a second to approve Brad Schultz as a 4-year term on the trustees for the library. Roll call, please.
Sharf,
Nothing to do with the individual, just circumstances? No.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
No.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Motion carried? Okay. We do have, or I did get a letter, I'm sure you probably were aware of that, from Sam Anderson is moving to Winthrop by July 31st, I think is their closing date. So he'd give me that notice. He told me he would be around and be at the July trustees meeting. And so I can put the person forward that I'm planning on filling that to finish out his term for 2 years tonight, if you want to vote on it. Because he's going to be there through July, we can address that at the meeting, first meeting in July. It's up to you whether
Let's
you want
just get
to
it
go that
done.
route.
Just put it forward.
Okay? For filling out his 2-year term, I had asked George Lake, since he is retiring from economic development, was a former school teacher and stuff, just asked him if he was interested. He thanked me for asking him and said he would love to do it. Would have done it 2-4 years, whatever I wanted. And so my appointment would be to appoint George Lake to finish out Mr. Anderson's term for 2 years.
I'd make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have any discussion?
If I can just make a comment, coming in brand new, I received several phone calls and several emails, and I think the biggest thing that I got out of it is transparency and making sure that people understand what's going on and who is coming on before we vote on it and before we go to it. I think it would have helped a lot with people's emotions and how they felt about
I
it.
wish I'd had it finalized a lot sooner, trust
I
me.
think just putting it out there and making sure people understand what's going on, what's coming,
Yeah.
would have helped a lot of people's fears or calm them down and maybe communicated that out to them better. I
Yep.
think that would have helped quite a bit. Then we wouldn't be receiving 40 calls or 50 emails or whatever the case may be.
Seems to be a familiar concern about board appointments.
Yeah. So I just think that helps a lot.
Any other comments? We do have a motion and a second. I would ask for a roll call, please.
Sharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried.
Mayor, if I could make a comment, I have been involved with the library for a lot of years, was on the fundraising committee, on the building committee, been liaison now for this year, and I think we need to really give Craig Ankerstar a thank you. He has, I don't even know how many years he's put in on the library.
12.
16 is my understanding.
No, he started in 2008, as far as I can tell by the records, but they don't go back any farther than that.
It's been a lot.
If he was there longer, I'm not aware of it.
It's been a lot of years, and he's worked, you don't get paid for it. He's, every meeting, he works at everything, and I think if anybody sees him, give him a thank you for everything he's done for the library.
I would also like to comment, since we had the training back in November, January, whenever we did that, and found out about the website or the organization of the State Library Committee, On that website is a copy of, or all the trustees' handbook. I was not aware that they had a handbook. I was not aware of the website. It would have helped 6.5 years ago if I'd known that, in making appointments and such. And it specifies that. I think Chapter 8 is actually covers relationship between the trustees and the city. But it pretty much spells out what their duties are, and what they can and cannot do, the separation of the director and the trustees, things to that degree. So it's actually one of my favorites between Bank, Iowa and the Methodist Church. So I've been on it several times through these times of making recommendations, looking at people to appoint, and I would recommend, if you haven't been on it and really looked at that, it would be an excellent thing to do. In talking with Greg, he says they have used it, but not very much, but after we talked, I think they're going to try and incorporate that more into their agendas and stuff to really look at what's in that handbook. So I'm not sure how expensive they are, but hopefully each one of them has one.
Can I recommend too that Al and Gina, we get the new people their emails? I think that's really helped all the board members getting everything from the city, helped a lot of communication.
Yep. It also does specify as part of Chapter 8 about the fact that a trustee should attend city council meetings at least quarterly. And I'm not sure if they've actually done that at all, but encouraged Greg, if they could work something like that. And it doesn't mean it has to be the chairman, it can be any one of the trustees. They could take turns if they wanted to, and that way they could get to know council people better and see how our part of the city's part of it works out. So I'm looking forward to that possibility of that relationship improving tremendously, and with the people that we just tonight passed to put on there, so. Moving on, home occupation, bed, breakfast, and hauling and tobacco permits?
It's quite a mouthful.
Who's addressing that?
These are just the annual permits that we do every single year.
Motion to approve.
A second.
I have a question before we vote. This is the city attorney. My wife's business is on there. Do I need to abstain?
I would suggest it.
Okay.
Oh, Lachlan, was that you that second? Okay, thank you.
Unless I can get a free haircut.
Extortion.
A quid pro quo.
So we do have a motion and a second to approve the tobacco, hauling, bed and breakfast, and home occupation permits.
You didn't hear that, did you?
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Well, you're first, John. Kurtz.
Abstain.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is carried. Next is the airport taxiway expansion change order.
This is a change order that stemmed from finding a handhold, electrical handhold that had to be moved from the new taxiway area. It was on the edge, and they felt it would be prudent to put it in the grass along with the other handholds. The total cost of the change order is $3,600.
So moved to approve it.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the change order number 2 for $3,600 to relocate the handhold. What is that? I don't even know what that is.
Is this covered by the annual fee or annual amount the airport gets to?
I think beyond my capability.
No, this is part of the taxiway expansion project. It's a 90-10 project with entitlement funds. So, I mean, it's just a change order on that project that they're just wrapping up now.
Is there any other discussion on that? Then I'd ask for a roll call, please.
O'Loughlin.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Scharf.
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Sorry, Carl.
Made my pen confused.
Next on the agenda is a motion to approve Highway 150 pole-mounted speed camera location and acceptance. I just lost that on my iPad to finish that out. Let Dustin
It's page 9.
speak of it.
Page 9.
Updated information?
As of the last council meeting, I say you guys had a vote and you wanted to have the final say in location on 150. We had a conversation with Dorian and his supervisors and I'm sure you guys have the picture of where they suggested to put it at, right next to the Dairy Queen, True Value right in that area. So this is just bringing back to you, that's the location they would suggest that it be located.
Did you concur?
Yes.
I'd make a motion, we approve it.
May I interject? I don't know if you want to do this in two motions. Part of the agreement was a mobile unit, which they have agreed that they will provide in addition to the location at the school. The mobile unit that they currently have is in an existing vehicle. It's a
Jeep Liberty, kind of like the one you see in Waterloo. It's the white, it's identical to that, it's white.
and they are offering to allow us to use that Jeep with the equipment already located, mounted in there. It's like the cameras, if we terminate the contract, the Jeep goes back to them, but at this point, we don't have to use our Equinox. We have access to this vehicle. We pay for the gas and insurance on it.
Yep. And maintenance-wise is on them, so if any tires or engine blows up or needs oil change stuff that goes, they pay for that. But insurance and fuel, moving of the vehicle, that stuff would be our responsibility.
It's a great idea.
So it also give us a way, I mean, we could trade in on the Equinox instead of keeping it around because we were using it specifically for that, so.
That was like initially $5,000 then, correct? Yeah. Well, I know.
Give or take.
Give or take a nickel or whatever.
Yep.
I only bring that up, and I did not mean to interrupt the motion. I didn't know if you wanted to make those in one motion or two separate motions. I just want you to be aware of both aspects of the speed cameras.
It's written out as one, if that's okay with everybody on the
Do
agenda
one as
itself.
150, the 150 location, and then come back to approve the full contract? Is that what you're saying?
The motion that's on the agenda says a motion to approve Highway 150 pole-mounted speed camera location and acceptance of a vehicle with camera installed for our mobile unit. That's how the motion is best light, unless whoever made the motion wants to change it.
So if we approve that, we haven't really approved the full contract yet.
The contract is approved, subject to your official approval of the location. If you read the language of the contract, you have to have the final say on where it goes on Highway 150. GATSO has to approve in writing that they concur with that location. Well, because they're proposing the location, we're backwards on that exact language in the contract, but we're doing the same thing. The mobile unit being mounted in the car, I felt strongly that the council should approve accepting that vehicle, because we're accepting some liability for it, some responsibility, even though they're paying the maintenance.
Can I go ahead and amend my motion?
Yes.
I would like to amend my motion to approve the Highway 150 pole-mounted speed camera location.
Nothing to address as far as the vehicle?
We're going to do that in two motions.
That's fine.
Okay.
Did you,
And who seconded your motion?
did you second that, Carl?
No, I thought
Nobody
you
did.
Did you have a second?
did. Oh,
No.
you didn't have one.
We did not have a
You didn't
second.
give a
Oh,
second,
okay.
okay.
With that location, I'm fine. There's other ones I didn't approve of, but that one, because of the safety factor and where the trucks come barreling, yes, second.
Okay.
I didn't.
Any other discussion? So we have a motion to approve Highway 150 pole-mounted speed camera location at the, near the, I don't know if we have to specify that it's near
Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen and, okay. Everybody know what you're voting on? Roll call, please.
Hannah,
No,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hale,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Then do we want a separate motion in regards to the
Vehicle.
vehicle, camera, and vehicle?
I'd make the motion that we accept the offer of the vehicle with the portable camera.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion on that part of it? Then a roll call on it.
Hannah,
No,
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Thank you very much.
Al, refresh my, have we set the speed, what the speeds are? We've
We-
done that.
Right, that was done
It's
in the
going on a long
ordinance.
time.
Do you
That's
want
all.
to, do you want a
Original.
refresher on them? I have them
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, if you could.
Speed violations, not in the school zone, between 10 and 15 miles an hour would be $75. 16 to 20 is 100, anything over 21 is 200. In your school zone, 6 to 10 is 75, 11 to 15 is 100, 16 to 20 is 125, anything over 21 miles per hour in the school zone is 225.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
you'll
you.
probably reprint those, won't you, John?
last item on the agenda is a welcome sign easement.
As we've worked through the welcome sign and the placement, the I sign that was on the north side of town by Vulcan Civic Center actually sits on the RV park, the Fairgrounds RV park property. And so it's been there forever, everybody's accepted it. It just seems like if we're going to put a new sign in, it's a good time to be legal. And this easement would grant us permission. I have a verbal, hey, we're okay with it, but I think we should formalize it, and this easement does that.
I'd make the motion to approve the easement.
I'd second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve permanent easement with the Buchanan County Fair and Livestock Association for a welcome sign. Is there any discussion? A roll call, please.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Loughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Thank you, motion is carried. We're down to reports. Does anybody have from any of their committees? I was going to ask you, Deb, is Senior Center reopening at all, or where do they stand
I
since you're
haven't
on
heard
that
anything
committee?
about it. No emails, nothing, no contact.
And you haven't had any meetings or anything on it? Really? Okay. I hear rumors, but I'm not sure.
Have you heard it's
Rumors
open?
go.
I should check in. Have you heard it's opened?
I've heard it both ways. I've heard people say they're closing down, they won't be having a senior center, won't reopen, but I've also had people question whether that's really true, and I don't know. I know before the pandemic, their numbers of people utilizing the senior center and going for meals was kept decreasing.
I'll make some contacts.
Yeah,
I can see.
if you would, and that way you can report it back to us at the next council meeting and such, so. Is there anything from any of your other committees that you guys represent? Nothing on waste, or the watershed or
They
anything?
haven't met.
Okay.
Our
Carl?
homeless had neither, and we got it scheduled to meet in August, depending.
Okay,
Oh, the library is, the schedule, I believe, was
The 29th?
29th
Right.
on Monday. They're going to be opening for people coming in, and they'll have standards and things they'll be posting for that. But they're put together a good plan for that.
you say I got an email from Laura before tonight's meeting that specified what hours and things like that. I'm sure it's posted on their website and everything, so. Anybody else, any council members want to make any comments?
I appreciated the punch list on the Malone Creek Bridge, and I also appreciate the extent to which they went to in explaining to us what needed to be done per the contract.
Very extensive, detailed report that you provided, yes. And they started,
Yeah,
well, kind of, but.
yeah.
Yeah, just so everybody's aware, there is a lot of work left to be done on Malone Creek Bridge. I appreciate the contractor getting in and starting, but I will tell you, there's a lot of work left to be done.
Department heads. Dustin, do you have anything else? Talk about our meeting on Wednesday? You want to discuss meeting on Wednesday?
Meeting on Wednesday.
This coming Wednesday?
That one.
Yeah, you want me to throw something at you, get your attention.
Well, I have a couple different things. Obviously, you guys know that Captain Brinkema moved on to a different department. After the council meeting last Monday, on Tuesday, we got a letter notifying that Officer McFerrin will be retiring. June 30th will be his last day. He will have 40 years and 2 months in with the Independence Police Department when he retires.
Wow.
So that will put us with another opening. I say we're in the middle of testing right now, which is great. So, I mean, it puts us, we have candidates that can fill that spot. Because of Brinkema's retirement and that position that we have open, we did interview some certified officers, and we did offer a position to Clint Bentley. He is currently the police chief in Fairbank. He's the only officer up there, so he's the police chief, one-man department. And he has accepted that offer. He will be sworn in on this Wednesday. They have council meetings the same night we do, so he's at a council meeting right now, otherwise I would have had him here. Because of that, his start date will be the 29th. The next council meeting after that, I intend to bring him here for all you guys to meet. I said he started his career in Fairbank. That's the first position he's had. He's been there 2 years now. He's gone through Law Enforcement Academy. He's already certified. So that is one of the positions. With McFerrin's retirement, we also have interviews coming up this coming Friday. We have 5 that are not certified that will be interviewing on Friday, and hopefully one of those will replace McFerrin's position. And then whatever we have out of those that we decide to create a list with, the list will be good for 1 year if we ever have any other vacancies within our department throughout that time.
Was there any more certified ones that you interviewed?
We did interview 2 certified. We had 3 that were there. We did interview 2 of them. We did offer the position to one of them. So other than that, our department is doing the best we can, being short-staffed, but we'll make it by through. So, I did promote Sergeant Lau to now Captain Lau, so he took over for Brinkema's position. You might see him every now and then. He might come up for one of these meetings just to give him a taste of being in this side of it instead of being as a patrolman, so. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fire department, nothing to share? Other than you've got more money now? What's your next project you guys are working on or saving for? Anything in particular? Yeah.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank, publicly here, I thanked them when they gave me the check, but that, very generous of the Triumph of Grace Church, and really appreciate that money. We have been in almost kind of a spending spree. We've had some money with the gear. We bought a new extractor washer to help take care of that gear, so hopefully it lasts us better and better taken care of. Using that came out of the estate money, not necessarily budgeted items. We also are looking at getting a stacker washer dryer. Currently, our old washer dryer, they were all very old anyway, but by washing our towels or our linen from upstairs, or if a guy wanted to, if we had a nasty call and he came here and wanted to change clothes and wash the stuff here, instead of taking it home, he'd be washing it in the same washing machine that we currently were washing our gear in. Now we're cross-contaminating the clean stuff. So we decided, okay, yep, we got that extractor washer. Next thing we should do is get another washing machine so we can be keeping that stuff separated. Space, we don't have room for a washer or dryer, so we thought, okay, we'll just do a stacker unit. And then we can do a washer dryer in the same space as what the other dryer was. So this money will go a long ways towards that, so that's going to help with that. We've also got a number of other pieces of equipment, just nozzles, just stuff that's getting old. There's new updated information technology, nozzles out there that don't require the same amount of pressure as some of the older ones. So currently, even with our 1 3/4 lines, one person on that line, it's a lot for that one person to try to handle it. There's enough pressure there. Well, there's other nozzles out there that don't need quite as much pressure to do the same thing. So now one person would be easier to handle that hose. Not for an interior attack, but if we're trying to do an exterior quick knockdown, one person can get on that hose and be able to handle it a lot easier. So that's kind of the direction we're trying to look at some of that stuff right now. So,
Sounds great.
yep.
Thank you very much. Gina, do you have anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, just that we'll be getting ready to do our year-end procedures at the end of the month here, so rolling all of our totals and getting things wrapped up with financials for the year-end, fiscal year-end.
Okay. Al?
I received word from Mark Luloff this morning. Mark has decided to call it a career after 40 years. He'll be retiring the end of July as well, so we'll start that advertising process as well. Mark will be missed.
For sure. Anything with our RFPs for our auditing type of thing, does that date out there ways?
Yeah, we don't have anything there yet. Gina, I'm not aware of anything.
Okay.
Mayor, were you gonna Mayor, the shredding Saturday, were you gonna bring that up?
You sound like you're
Shredding?
whispering, I can't hear a thing.
Saturday?
27?
The 27th, the library is hosting a shred day at the
Oh, I'm
Vulcan
sorry.
Civic Center.
Yeah,
From 10 till 12. So if anybody has any shredding, the community shred day is this Saturday. Thank you.
I have nothing else in addition, so I will ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn tonight's meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Welcome aboard, Juan. Glad to have you here.